everybody.
Hi, friends. Well, from gorgeous Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast.
I'm Frank Feldman.
And I'm Dan Beecher.
And coming up on the show today, oh my God, total spill the beans from J.Fal.Ju.
I don't feel like he spilled all the beans. I feel like he spilled a bunch of beans.
Yeah.
And there's more beans coming from other sources, but he spilled some of his own beans. And it's a story, it's a tale as old as time. It's a story right out of the what's the show on HBO? Righteous Gemstones.
Yeah, the Righteous Gemstones. Do you watch? I
watched a little bit of it and then fell away. I'll have to pick it back up.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, and if they continue to follow kind of the J.Fal.Ju pattern that they seem to be following for the show, this could add a new twist.
Yeah,
it would be a fun one. Anyway, well, Dan, I have a story about some atheists who are sick and tired. Dan,
I'm tired. I'm not sick though.
I think we're all tired.
I only half qualify.
No, some atheists in Kenya. Have threatened legal action.
Okay.
Against a Pentecostal Evangelic Fellowship of Africa church in Kangundo. And what do you think they're sick and tired of?
You know what? I couldn't, just being called jerks. I don't know.
The noise. They're suing over noise pollution.
Yeah.
This is brilliant because, I mean, if you know anything about Pentecostals,
they're not quiet.
They're not quiet. They scream, they shout.
It ain't Mormonism.
Jump around. They handle snakes. Some of them. Apparently, there's this one really noisy church that they've sent a letter to, and they've given them a 14-day ultimatum to address the matter, or else legal actions will follow.
Wow.
Because of constant complaints by neighbors asking them to please tone down on their noisy worship every Sunday and Friday evening.
Wow.
And
Friday night. Why are you doing don't do church on Friday night.
Got to keep people out of the bars.
God damn it.
Got to keep people in the pews instead. Yeah. Apparently, the letter says the noise that emanates from your church is intolerable to a lot of residents living near the church. What's also interesting is that it doesn't sound like the atheists themselves. It's not like this church is surrounded by atheist residents.
No,
they're taking up the cause on behalf of the residents of this neighborhood.
Out there doing good in the world by shutting Christians the fuck up.
I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be following this. I'm going to set up a Google alert.
Oh, yeah.
Because I need to know what happens with this story.
Yeah,
because you know that this church will not comply.
Oh, no.
Atheists demand that they tone it down. They're going to turn it up.
They're going to get louder.
Yeah.
That's the MO. At least if they were in this country, that's what they would do. Maybe Kenya isn't quite as backwards as we are. I don't know.
It's anything's possible.
It does.
When you're talking about backwards and this country, anything is possible.
I feel like our country is setting new records. We're setting the standard for the whole world to see in terms of just being shit.
Well, I mean, at this point, if this was in the United States, good luck suing that church to be quiet,
right?
Like that church, like all of the Christian defense funds and everything, they would be like, thank you. Another one going to the Supreme Court.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So I've got a story about a new paper that has been published in the journal Justice Quarterly, which is a journal about prisons and the prison system and stuff.
Okay.
And this paper was looking at whether or not faith-based programs within the prison system lead to less recidivism. Now, apparently a Pew Research study in 2012 found that 73% of state prison chaplains believed that the faith-based programs that they participated in were absolutely crucial.
Well, of course they did. That's
Yeah.
that's a silly survey.
It is. They are 100% convinced of this. Sorry, 73% convinced of this. Or rather, 73% of them are 100% convinced.
Right.
And 60% of the time, it works every time. No. But so they've done some studying of it. Turns out, no. Finding Jesus in prison or strengthening your Jesus while you're in prison does not help with recidivism in this country.
Color me surprised.
Who's shocked? Raise your hands. The weird thing, the thing is, our prison system is a joke. It is the worst. Like we put more people in prison than anybody else, and it's a terrible system. It's literally built so that, here's the thing. Half of our prisons are for profit. Do you think we're rehabilitating prisoners is going to be to the advantage of a for-profit prison? No!
You want repeat business.
They have no interest in rehabilitating people.
Yeah.
So these people get no training about how to live in the world. They get no job training. They get they get basically just booted out at the end of their prison sentence.
Yeah.
With no resources at all made available to them. So guess what? Jesus ain't going to help you. The only thing that's going to help you is resources. And when you are, back out on the street and poverty stricken and have no way of fending for yourself, you're going to turn back to crime. That's what's going to happen. So,
yeah,
it turns out, Jesus can be really good. Apparently it can, being very religious can be a comfort while you're in prison. I guess having an imaginary friend, having a good hobby, as Hemant Mehta pointed out in his thing.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
And the other thing is our government, since our government is not going to spend any money on anything that would benefit society, priests and pastors are the only ones who are going in and doing anything.
Yeah.
It's really the only option. It's, you know what I mean? They're not charging anything for their thing. They're doing it for free. We need to start doing some prison outreach, some atheist prison outreach.
Yes. Because they're there.
Yeah.
And if anything, who can say, but I would think that we would have a better message.
We would have
that would be potentially more productive.
Yeah, we would work to help people with things. It would be great.
Yeah.
Somebody do that.
Yeah. All right. Well, Dan.
Yeah.
I've got the story of a couple in Tennessee that was looking to adopt a child out of state.
Sure.
And so they needed some help from some local resources because Tennessee has this law that requires basically foster parent training and a home study, certification before you can initiate the adoption process.
Sure.
And so the couple by the name of Elizabeth and Gabriel Rutten. Yeah, no kidding. Contacted and was working with the Holston United Methodist Home for Children. They got the ball rolling, and then Holston told them that they were no longer going to work with them because they were Jewish.
Ooh.
And they were Methodist. Ooh. And Tennessee has a law on the books, a new law, that allows religious adoption agencies to deny service to families whose religious or moral beliefs aren't in sync with the providers.
God, that's gross.
And of course, Holston receives government money.
Yeah.
As an adoption provider.
Yeah.
And in order to provide adoptions to the public. and to provide these foster parent training and home study certifications to the public, that they're getting public money.
Yeah.
So their services should be open to the public.
Also,
And-
not for nothing, you're Christians.
Yeah.
And as Christians, you believe like 99% the same shit as Jewish people.
Well, this is a real test of the whole Judeo-Christian thing. That
Right?
Everybody loves to be like, oh, there's a Judeo-Christian ethic that this country
Yeah,
is
this
based
country's
on.
a Judeo-Christian country,
And it's
goddammit.
like-
But we don't like the Judeo part. But it is, but we don't like, we don't.
We'll use the name, but
But
if you happen-
so what becomes clear then is that the important belief that these fine Jewish would-be parents don't share is anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
Because all of the rest of it is the same.
Right.
You got the same 10 commandments. You got it from them. You stole half of your shit from them.
Right. Yeah. And, you hear about these laws, and my mind immediately goes to, well, it's to keep gay couples from being able to adopt. And that's, I'm sure, where a lot of people who supported this law, where what their intention was.
Yeah.
But it also means that these Christian organizations, which in a lot of communities, you might not have a lot of options for adoption, providers.
Right.
And so now the local Christian adoption agency, if you're Muslim, if you're atheist, if you're Jewish, clearly, whatever you are that ain't Methodist,
Right.
sorry guys.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, exactly.
We're protecting this child from growing up Jewish.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is.
Yeah. 100%.
It's disgusting.
Go get you a kid in New York or something.
Oh, God. Yeah, it's a horrendous story. There's a part where it gets it tells a little bit more of the personal side of the story for this young couple who, they can't biologically have their own child, and so they've been wanting to adopt.
You know what? They don't want a Christian kid anyway. They all grow up to be assholes.
But the wife, she says, it was the first time I felt discriminated against because I'm Jewish. It was very shocking, and it was very hurtful.
Yeah,
that the agency seemed to think that a child would be better off in state custody than with a loving family.
Yeah. This is what's shocking about all of this. A gay couple, the same argument can be made for a gay couple.
Oh, yeah.
It's still shocking.
Yeah.
But I get that the demonization of gay people is still very strong in our country.
Right.
The anti-Semitism thing was kind of they were kind of hiding that one a little bit better for a while there. And then Trump came along and everything just sort of exploded. And now we're back to.
Well, and you give religious these sort of pseudo public agencies that are connected to a church.
Yeah.
Right. You give them the right to discriminate, and you get to see what their real values are.
Well, that's true. That's very true. Their true colors are flying now. My next story is basically the same kind of story.
Really?
And the reason that all of this is possible, we should talk about the fact that we talked about it at the time, but there was a Supreme Court ruling in this country by the idiot baboons in our current Supreme Court that basically, I think it was somewhere in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia. It was a Philadelphia ruling. They ruled that Philadelphia couldn't have, basically adoption agencies could have their own discriminatory policies and they had to work with them.
Oh, right.
Because it's discrimination against the bigots if you don't.
It's
and this is
the fact that they actually basically are taking that stance is amazing.
It's shocking.
Yeah.
It's and like the way you have to twist your brain to make that a legal argument is bizarre and so disheartening. But as you pointed out, and as I'm about to point out, that means it's sweeping the country. That means that nobody's allowed. I mean, it's basically, this is thought to be now an overarching rule that will apply everywhere. So now the State Department of Health and Human Services of Michigan has decided that they're going to change their rules. They have to.
Okay.
And they are going to allow, they basically have to give up on the anti-discrimination rules and say, okay, if you are a faith-based adoption agency, you get to be dickholes and not put kids into LGBTQ plus homes.
Jesus Christ. It's insanity.
It's so, I mean, literally, these people would rather put a kid into an unfit Christian home.
Yes.
Than like super stable, great environment that happens to be LGBTQ, apparently Jewish, like anything.
Yeah,
certainly atheists are out.
Yeah.
Surely the second that they find out that you're an atheist, you're not getting that kid.
Yeah. I mean, it would almost behoove any atheist couple or single person looking to adopt. Just put up some Christian crosses in your house.
Go to church a couple, start to go to church monthly or whatever, just so that you can have a track record.
Yeah.
It's fine to lie. Look,
flat out lie about it.
There's no God. Nobody's there's no eternal retribution.
It's better for that child.
It's better for that child.
Let the end justify the means.
Yeah, by all means. At this point,
in this case, and
unfortunately, you can't really lie. You could lie if you're Jewish, I suppose, but you can't lie if you're a gay couple.
Yeah,
I suppose you could birdcage it. Have one of them throw on a wig. That's the new birdcage.
May not be the best.
No, it's a bad idea, but it makes for a fun movie.
Yeah.
Look for Birdcage 2, the adoption coming out in a theater near you.
All right. Well, Dan, over there in Germany,
there
are a bunch of, I would assume, fairly unhappy.
Just everyone is unhappy in Germany.
No,
that's what you're saying.
Employees of the Catholic Church.
Oh,
at least 125 of them who are LGBT.
Oh,
and have come out as such, including priests.
Well, that's no surprise.
Religious and lay employees.
Wow.
School teachers, so forth and so on. Working somehow for some sort of Catholic entity in the country. They came out in mass.
Oh. I get it. 'Cause mass.
Oh, so funny. They're using the hashtag out in church.
Interesting.
And they're working for a church without fear, is what they say. And this is in large part in response to the Vatican's Orthodoxy office.
Yikes.
My God.
That's not a good office.
Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith is the name of the office, I guess. They said that the back last March, this is when they came out and said that clergy cannot bless, not even bless same-sex unions, not perform marriages, can't even say, God bless you, you too.
Because they can't bless sin.
That is exactly right.
I remember that.
Yeah. And so this initiative that's being started by these 125 people who, literally, they've are signing their names, so to speak, to this manifesto, and they're calling for all LGBTQIA individuals who work for the church to join up. They're appealing to bishops to give its manifesto public support. And it argues that the church should make clear that LGBTQIA people, whether living alone or in a relationship, are blessed by God.
I feel like something's brewing in Germany.
Yeah.
I feel like Germany, maybe it's just that they're an eminently practical people, sort of by nature.
Yeah.
But I feel like they see the church, and unlike a place like here where the church that you believe in is somehow this magical entity that is always right, or that blah, blah, blah. Germany just has a long history of going, I have a problem with some of the things you're saying. I just think we need to revisit some of your positions.
Yeah.
Our positions as Catholics.
It is interesting. Like, it does beg the question for me of this church officially, their office of orthodoxy,
Yeah.
right,
Which,
has
by the
come
way,
out and said, you're not welcome here.
Right.
And instead of being like, yeah, okay, fine, fuck you too.
Right.
And leaving, they're like, well, no, we need to stick around and we need to like reform this thing. Now, granted, they're all employees,
Right.
right? Which which does put you in a very different position, right?
Yeah.
And you're, except for like the priests, you don't necessarily have to like be in 100% to be like a teacher at a Catholic school, right? For example,
Right.
Or
Yeah.
something.
You
along
don't want to
those
leave
lines.
because that's your livelihood.
Right? So
Yeah.
So it is a little bit of a different position, but at the same time, fuck you, Catholic Church.
Right.
Get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
Like, why would you want to stay? I just have, like, you do have, like, you're currently employed. You have a set of skills.
Right.
Take those skills and work for somebody who appreciates you for who you are.
Right. There's someone who will celebrate who
Yeah.
you are.
Yeah.
Instead of you having to feel some sort of shame or some sort of outsiderness or it's no fun at all.
And I get it. Changing jobs is hard. Nobody wants to do it. A job can be more than just like a job.
Yeah.
I get it. There's kind of your work family. There's these people that you have these relationships.
And it could be very fulfilling and all of
and
this sort of
everything's good except for the fact that the company that you work for, the Catholic Church, doesn't like you.
They reject you.
Yeah.
And all the things that make you you.
Yeah.
Your basic you-ness is really the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything else is fine.
Everything else, the work you're doing is great. We really appreciate that. If you could just
don't appreciate you.
please don't be you while you're here or if anyone's looking.
And especially if anybody asks.
And if anybody asks, you're not you. You're us.
God.
Yuck. All right. Well, speaking of yuck, I'm going to close us out with Mississippi, Ridgeland, Mississippi specifically.
Yeah.
You know, the thriving metropolis of Ridgeland, Mississippi.
But it's a beautiful place. Spanish moss.
Oh, yeah. Hanging from every tree
trees.
and
Oh, yeah. Big, beautiful old mansions.
gorgeous rebel flags flying. Anyway, I don't know.
Blowing in the wind.
The mayor of Ridgeland has taken a stand. And that stand is, the Madison County Library System has a contract with Ridgeland. And Ridgeland gives them $110,000 a year. Just as part of, that's part of their endowment, part of what keeps them going in.
To provide them with a library? Okay.
Yeah, for library services.
Okay.
Well, Mayor Gene McGee has decided to withhold these funds.
Oh.
Yeah. He's not going to release it to them.
Does he want his library closed?
No, he loves the library, or presumably he loves the library. I'm guessing he doesn't read a lot. Anyway,
He likes the idea of library.
he just wants all that gay shit out of there. He just don't like the queer stuff
Oh my God.
in the library. And we're not just talking about like, we're talking about any books that have incidentally gay characters in them. Just sort of, he just doesn't want any gay in the library. And he's not the only one. He claims that that this is a response to lots of community members who are absolutely livid to find in the children's section, Frank, the children's section, books that happen to have LGBTQIA plus people. Like, a kid could see that, Frank.
And then what would happen?
And then what? They're all gay.
That is what happens.
If you
see a person,
if you smell a gay book, you turn gay. Anyway, yeah,
it's quite contagious.
It's literally that. It's literally that stupid. Apparently, on a phone call with the library director, he said that the homosexual materials in the library went against his Christian beliefs, and he would not release the money as long as the materials were there. He went on to say, the library can serve whoever we wanted, but he only serves the great Lord above.
Cool. Yeah, you're awesome.
Dude.
Douche.
I'll bet you were sexy in high school. I'll bet the ladies loved you. Mayor McGee. So that's the state of the government in now, of course, there was a big board meeting and the alderman's meeting and stuff. And at that meeting, the legal counsel of the library board was asked if the mayor had the authority to withhold these funds, considering there's a contract in place. Bob Sanders, who is the counsel for the library board, said, no. That was a quote.
Literally.
The quote was, no. I'm just going to assume that he said it that way.
That's his legal opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
No. Sorry.
You don't need a lot of subtlety or nuance,
right,
when it's that stupid. Anyway,
poor little town.
I know, it's hard. They've got books that have gay people in it. There's one called Granddad's Camper, and I think that Granddad is gay. What are we supposed to do? An old gay guy.
They're the worst.
They're the worst.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's a kid's book. It's so stupid. It is just remarkable. But there you go. He serves the Lord. Well, if you serve the Lord and would like to tell us all about it or something else, please feel free to write into us. Yeah, something else. Yeah. If you serve the Lord, why are you listening to this show? Anyway, you can write into us, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or call and leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442. Stick around. There is more show coming up.
Frank,
Dan,
do you know the name Sherry Tenpenny?
I feel like I should.
It sounds like like a horror villain or something. And she is, it turns out, a horror villain. She is one of the so-called Dirty Dozen, the 12 people most responsible for spreading anti-vax COVID lies throughout the world.
Good for her.
And she has said some really choice things of late. I had trouble deciding which of her clips we should play this time.
That's too bad. I love the last name. Tenpenny.
Tenpenny.
Ugh, I'd kill for a last name like that.
I'd just change it to Dime. It's too long.
No,
just shorten it down to Dime. Anyway, I just want you to see if you can follow this. She's going to tell us all about what's really going on with these COVID vaccines.
Oh.
She gets a little sciencey, so it might be tricky for those of you who aren't into, real hardcore science.
And this is something new? We've never heard this theory before?
Well, I've never heard it. Okay, it's pretty good.
I'm excited.
Here we go.
And I want people to remember this term because you're going to hear a lot of it in the next year. Quantum entanglement. quantum entanglement, because when that's from a physics perspective, what happens when you take that shot in, there's all this entangling that goes on, and with the artificial intelligence hooking you up to the Google credit scores and all the, all of the D matrix and all of those things. It's happening in people that have already been injected. So what you need to do is really understand what their end game is and block it and repent and stand back, trust and truth, and lead into the Lord. And then that is your salvation, is to get that back into your body.
I feel like she squoze more nonsense woo into that very short clip than I have ever heard before.
I'm speechless, because she has basically picked up on all these different ideas that are out there that are scientific-ish, right? I mean, quantum entanglements that's a thing, right?
Not the way she described it.
Not the way she's describing it, but somebody heard the word and they're like, we're gonna pick up on that. But they'll pick and choose all of these sciencey sounding things left, right, and center. But when the real fucking science is sitting right in front of them, that's simple and plain, nope.
They deny it. Here's the thing.
It has to be complicated and convoluted, and they'll just buy into any stupid idea.
How can someone make Deepak Chopra sound like he has a reasonable grasp of quantum science? That's what I want to know. Because compared to this lady, he suddenly sounds reasonable.
Oh, God, my God.
Quantum entanglement. Something about Google credit scores.
Never.
Somehow, you're now Wi-Fi'd to the G5 with the Google credit scores. The
Google
D
credit.
matrix. She just threw that one out there. What does that mean?
I have no idea.
Is it about the Wachowskis haven't even come out with that one yet?
Which pill are you supposed to take? I can't remember.
At this point, yeah. Apparently, there's a yellow pill now. Is what's happening.
Is there a third option? Did I have to do the blue?
I'm not
or
really
the
into
red?
sort of the primary colors. Red and blue are do you have a lavender pill?
It's a little too binary.
I would really, yeah, exactly. Oh my God. She's a hoot. She's the one that my father-in-law apparently was listening to when he first didn't want to get.
And because that's what it is more than anything, is you don't want to, for whatever knee-jerk reaction you have to the idea of somebody telling you need to go get a shot.
Yeah.
You don't like the idea. You don't like I don't like being bossed around. And then you go and you find whatever it is that confirms that helps you have an argument against it. Right.
Yeah. Even if that argument is quantum entanglement, Google credit scores. What are you talking about?
And honestly, it's always literal. Well,
it's crazy.
I mean, that one basically almost broke me. I sat over here just what in the fuck am I listening to?
Frank basically fell out of his chair.
Backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We had some folks write into us. This is a much better thing than Sherry Tenpenny, so that's good. Steve wrote into us, Dear Frank and Dan, I used to dutifully save past issues of atheist and secular humanist magazines until I realized I wasn't revisiting them, so they were just gathering dust. So now, after reading, I leave them in one of many of those little free library thingies near my home.
Well done. Yeah.
I have also donated sundry atheist books that I didn't find compelling, but that someone might find helpful. You never know who might stumble on one of them and undergo a change of thinking.
I love it.
Beats throwing them in the trash. I love this idea too. And Steve goes on to say that you can Google little free library to find ones near you.
Yeah.
Kate,
I've seen them.
Kate, who has subbed on the show, she has a little free library.
Does she?
And she has to go out and periodically pull the religious claptrap out that people leave. So I think turnabout is fair play.
Absolutely.
Well done, Steve. That's a brilliant idea. I love it.
I bet the J-dubs just love loading those things up.
Oh, everybody does. The Mormons that you'll go and you'll find a
Free Book of Mormon.
free either a Book of Mormon or a Miracle of Forgiveness or some nonsense like that.
Oh, which finally officially got retired. Did you hear that?
Oh, really?
Miracle of Forgiveness.
That's a Mormon deep cut, everybody. But it sounds nice. The Miracle of Forgiveness. That sounds like a nice book. It is a not nice book.
Oh, I can't believe we didn't talk about it on the show. Oh well.
Oh,
Next
well.
week. Next week we'll talk.
We'll
about
get to everything. Anyway, this is from Slarta Bartfast.
Nice.
Who's writing into us apparently from outer space.
Yeah.
Anyway, hi friends. I'm writing to second Audrey's suggestion of last week. We need atheist Bible study ASMR to occupy the digital space next to the Bible study ASMR. From a digital marketing standpoint, this is a golden opportunity both to promote atheism and weaken evangelical Christianity. Atheist Bible study is well established. ASMR is well established. Christian ASMR fans who seek affirmation in their faith should be discomfited to know that their softly spoken fables are like those of the ancient Aztecs. I just thought that was cute. Yeah,
that's fun.
Sure. I'd go make it happen.
Yeah.
Slarta Bartfast does say, I don't know if I'm the right person to start or help produce it and make it a thing, but I'm here to help promote it. So
Fantastic.
there you go. Get your YouTube channel up there. And don't market atheists. Just be like, select Bible passages in ASMR.
Yeah.
And,
yeah. Like totally conceal the real intent.
Yeah, and then
Lure people in.
and you don't start with the one about for his genitals were like that of a donkey and stuff.
Right.
You start before that, and then you get to that part.
there. Yeah.
And then slow down. Really, really enjoy that part. Chew
Man,
it.
It sounds like you're made for this. Although it needs to be a woman's voice, right? Isn't that are there guys who record the...
Oh, there are guys.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's just whispering. You know what I mean? It's just...
And guys can whisper too. Is that what you're saying?
Guys can whisper. It's a thing we can do. Isn't that great? And finally, this is from Nathan, who says, finding content can be hard. Thought you might be interested in this one. Proof that... there's a headline. Proof that priesthood blessings are worthless. And what Nathan has written into us, I didn't want to use it as a story, but I thought it was a lot of fun, which is apparently he talks about Utah Intermountain Healthcare being the largest hospital network in Utah.
Right.
And very much, their clientele is predominantly Mormon.
Yes. Yeah.
Because
That's
Utah
who lives here.
predominantly Mormon. So you would think, as Nathan points out, that if the priesthood blessings that are being given all over these hospitals were effective, they would have a better record than your average hospitals.
How has nobody ever thought of this before?
Right?
What?
Yeah.
The obviously the medical sort of the outcomes of the treatment
should be
same as basically anywhere else.
Apparently Intermountain Healthcare looks like any other good to not good hospital. He sent the rankings. Nathan says, one can argue that the priesthood blessings alone. Now, this is a Mormon thing, you guys. You should know that, like, the priesthood that we bestow, Frank and I bestow upon our patrons.
Yeah.
That's based on a real thing that Mormons do for all the man folk.
Yeah. 12 and up.
You're supposed to be able to heal people with it. Like, it's supposed to be magic powers. So if that were to work, as Nathan points out, that should put their success rates on the level of top tier hospitals like the Mayo Clinic, Cleveland Clinic, and Johns Hopkins, but they do not.
Oh, that's delicious.
Yeah. We got data, people. Shit don't work.
My God.
I mean, everyone has data on this one. Everyone who grew up in a Mormon family has data on this.
Yeah.
Because it fucking, you're getting the same results as people who don't have it.
did you get colds any less than your non-Mormon neighbors?
Right.
Did your broken leg heal up quicker than the doctor said it was going to?
And of course, every 15th family has a story about how grandma was supposed to die and they were certain she was going to die. And then she lived another 12 years, shocking all the doctors.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And it's like, yeah, but also your uncle just died of nothing. Or you know what I mean? Like, okay, so you got 1 point. We also had a miracle on our side, an unexpected survival.
Right.
So no, you haven't won anything. You lose.
Oh, I love it. That's so good.
Yeah.
Delicious is what I want to say.
Okay. Okay. Well, do we have some folks to thank this week?
We do indeed, Dan. We have, again,
a bumper crop.
A ton of people.
Hurrah.
So to speak. And I'm just going to start with Glenn, who's a new teacher.
Ooh.
Melanie, who's also a new teacher.
Oh.
The future Mrs. Enright,
Oh.
also a new teacher. And Alex, a new priest.
Oh.
So thank you to the four of you.
Yeah.
For heading on over to our website, thankgodimatheist.com, and clicking on the support tab. That's how you could join them if you'd like.
You guys don't hear any ads on this show. This is the only way that we make any money at all.
Yeah, we swear off ads.
So
and we like being listener supported. So
if you want to join the ranks, please do go to thankgodimatheist.com, click on that support tab. We will thank you so much on the show even.
Yeah.
You're great. We really appreciate you. We have one more person to thank.
We do indeed. Our top donor, our Lord and Savior, Demonium. Stick around. There's more show coming up.
Franklin,
Dan.
J.Fal.Ju.
I know.
He
comes up all the time.
Well, he hasn't.
Or there have been a number of really good reasons to talk about him on the show.
Yeah. I mean, he's been relatively quiet of late since he was fired from his job at his dad's university.
Mm-hmm.
He was the president of Liberty University, had been for a long time, and literally, it was an astonishing fall from grace.
Right.
He had held himself up as sort of a moral leader.
Yeah. He's head of a big old Christian university.
Yeah. And then a whole bunch of just crazy things transpired.
There was a pool boy.
Yeah, it turned out that there was a pool boy who claimed that he not only did he fuck Jerry's wife, but Jerry liked to watch.
Yeah.
And then there was a photograph on that he posted to like social media of him drinking on a yacht with a pregnant woman next to him that wasn't his wife, and his fly was open. There's a whole bunch of like, what the fuck is happening moments.
Yeah.
And just things just sort of fell apart.
And the pool boy got like some sweet property deal.
Yeah, he got to be partial owner on a motel or a hostel in Florida. It's just insane things. And then he started to sue Liberty, and Liberty started to sue him, and there was all these things, and he was fired and all this stuff, and then he got drunk and fell down the stairs, and
oh my God,
it was just a bunch of stuff. Anyway, he did a whole interview with Vanity Fair magazine.
Oh.
And, it's actually very interesting to get, the way they paint the picture of these people. They have a different story than pool boy Giancarlo Granda had about how things played out.
Giancarlo? Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
No.
It's a good pool boy name.
It's a very good pool boy name. That's about as good as it gets when it comes to pool boys. Anyway, Jerry and Becky Falwell talking to the reporter, and sort of the big headline moment was when Jerry basically said, everybody assumes that I'm this big religious guy. I'm not.
Wait.
Now that...
No, wait. Everybody just assumes.
Yeah.
Like,
why would they think that, Jerry?
that thing that, you've been presenting yourself as.
That thing that, yeah, exactly. He's like, no, that was my dad, not me. You were president of the university.
Yes.
Jerry. Anyway, so that was the big bombshell. But you know what? It's not shocking. The thing about it is, of course, and he still believes in God. He says he's not, religious, but he still believes in God and all this stuff. And he's also the asshole that kind of first endorsed Trump and made a big, big splash with the evangelicals. And probably kind of crowned him at that point, because the evangelicals were backing Ted Cruz for a long time there.
Yeah.
Because he is one.
Right.
And, that's usually a good thing for them. But no, at some point, everyone expected Falwell to back Cruz. And then he backed Trump, and that changed the game entirely.
Yeah. So he delivered the evangelicals, but he's saying, but I'm not religious.
I'm not a religious person. That was my dad. And then he tells
you're not as religious as your father.
Well, here's the thing.
Because
the article also talks about his dad and talks about his take on his dad is that his dad was religious, but wasn't the fire and brimstone, super orthodox Christian guy that we all knew and loved until his mom came along and whipped that into him.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. He was in a gang as a kid, beating up other gangs and stuff.
What?
But I mean, a 1950s style gang. It was probably more a Sharks and Jets type of scenario, but
snapping slowly,
dance fighting at each other.
50s gangs.
That's how it was, right? Anyway, yeah, I guess the thing about that feels funny to me and sad and weird is that the picture that emerged for me, and you can tell me if you disagree or whatever, the picture that emerged for me of Jerry Falwell Jr. is that he grew up in the shadow of this immensely important man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Jerry Falwell Sr. was a dickhole.
Yeah.
But he was a famous dickhole and
wielded power.
Wielded lots of power.
Yeah. So therefore important.
And
wish that he hadn't been.
Right.
But,
yeah.
Yeah.
But Junior kept trying to get out from all of this. He didn't go to divinity school or anything like that. He went to law school. He tried to get away.
Okay.
And then the Liberty was failing. The family business was failing. So he came back in and he turned it around. He turned it into a very profitable business and all this stuff. He didn't want to, I mean, the sense that I get is he just never got out from the shadow of this man. His dad, his destiny was sort of carved out for him and he could just never get out from it. And he couldn't get his brain out from it either. He couldn't extract himself emotionally and psychologically from this thing.
Sounds like we should feel bad for him.
I mean, no. I think it's fine not to. But I do think I get the sense he's miserable. He would have been so much happier if he had just been able
religion hadn't been foisted upon him.
Yeah.
Huh.
Weird, right?
That's crazy.
But yeah, I mean, he clearly self-destructed, probably at least unconsciously on purpose to get himself out. Literally,
it's the only way he could get out.
Right after he was fired, he went on a local like NPR station and said, free at last, thank God Almighty, I'm free at last. Like,
That's tasteless.
horribly tone deaf, like just god awful on that front. And then, but also it speaks to the fact that he didn't want to do it. He didn't want to be there. And literally his psyche had to like
get caught with his britches down.
Completely like, self-destruct.
Multiple times.
Before he could, like he had to blow himself up before he could get out.
What's truly amazing is how much effort that took.
Yeah.
The pool boy should have done it. The pool boy should have been enough. Like the border regents or whatever at the Liberty University should have just been like, no.
Yeah, this is
done.
You've gone too far, sir.
Yeah.
But no, it's hard to get yourself fired from Liberty University.
Well, it's probably hard to get fired from Liberty University if you're J.Fal.Ju.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like that is some legacy for them that is like incredibly important, right? And carries such cachet for them.
Also, it's terrible publicity for them.
And it's also that, sure.
So like,
but also, isn't it worse publicity to let it keep going on?
You'd think.
Pictures of him with wine on yachts with young women and pants unzipped. Like it's
what are you doing,
bizarre.
Dude? Yeah.
All along. And we've talked about all of these incidents ad nauseum. Right. On this show. And all the while we think he's a believer.
Yeah.
I did. I thought he was screwed up. I thought that he like was a hypocrite. I thought that but I figured that he was like also in it.
Yeah.
And if nothing else, that he was like an opportunist who knew how to like play the game, and maybe he was like getting caught a couple times. Right.
Right.
But it doesn't even sound like it was that.
No.
It just sounds like he just came in, saved the business. And
just bumbled his way through, never wanted to do it. Never. Yeah. It's.
Oh my God. I cannot wait for this season of The Righteous Gemstones to come out.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, it's how do you even parody it? How do you know what I mean? Like how, like you can't go farther.
Oh,
there was the rumors that was going around. They deny it, but like the big thing was that Michael Cohen, who was Trump's attorney before he went to jail, had naked pictures of them doing untoward things that he was holding, which precipitated his support of Trump.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Of course, I believe it.
I believe it too. I obviously have no evidence, but it would make so much sense. And then, because human psychology is what it is, I believe that they could burn those photographs, that Michael Cohen could have gotten rid of those photographs or given them back to him, and they would still be Trump supporters.
Yeah.
Because they flipped that switch in their brain.
Yeah, maybe.
That's
crazy,
that's just what human beings, man. I have learned so much about what stupid monkeys we are as a species over the last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
It's been amazing. What a lesson we've all been able to learn.
No kidding.
Well, if you would like to send some schadenfreude about Jerry Falwell or anybody to us, please feel free to do so. Write into us, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or call and leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Yeah, hey, go to the Facebook page, would you? Facebook.com/TGIAtheist. Click the like button.
And if you'd like to join one of our members-only lounges, you can do so by going to our website, thankgodimatheist.com/members-only. And there's links there. It'll take you to Discord or Facebook, whatever you want to do.
Whatever you want to do. Hey, thanks so much to the Red Rock Hot Club for the use of their fine music.
And thanks to Gordon Johnston for the use of his music.
And thanks to all of you for tuning in.
Thanks. Bye-bye.